Welcome to the Official Jets Podcast. We're presented by WinBet. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WinBet. Eric Allen in studio. Joined as always by the Mad Backer, my partner in crime, Bart Scott. Jets tight end Tyler Conklin in the house today on Halloween. Oh, man, how tough of a game was that against the Patriots yesterday? 22-17. Felt like you were in control, but a lot of the guys were saying after the game, you let it slip away.
Yeah, that one hurts. That's my first time in this rivalry, right? And you know how much all you hear all week is how much the fans hate him, how much everybody hates him, and I got that same hate for him now, that's for sure. But it definitely slipped away from us. It's one of those games we're gonna look back at and shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it is what it is, and we get to see him in a couple weeks. So,
how frustrating was film study today when you looked at all the opportunities and how close you were, and how Bill gets these mirages defensively to kind of spook you out of things when you realize that he really isn't a big bad wolf. And personnel-wise, you guys have more than enough talent to be, to put more points on the board against that defense.
Yeah, I think that's one of the frustrating parts is the fact that we know and feel like we're the more talented team, right? And, we feel like we could have made so many big plays and dominated that game, and you come out of it and you didn't, and that's the most frustrating part about it. For the most part, they really didn't do too much to try to trick us. I mean, we knew they were going to have some weird personnels at times. They got in a couple fronts that we didn't expect them to get into, but for the most part, when they did that, we handled it well. Obviously, we just at times got to take care of the ball better and make some plays when we need to make them. But it's a frustrating loss for sure.
What about you? 6 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. The 2 touchdowns, a career high in a single game. Also, 5 of those 6 catches going for first downs, also a career high. Obviously, didn't like the team outcome. But as far as individually, how big of a step was that for you and the young quarterback, Zach Wilson?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to be happy about a big game when you win, but I think it's big for me and Zach because I want to be someone that he trusts on third down. I want to be someone that he trusts when things break down or when he just needs to make a choice between a side and make a play. I want to keep building that trust. That was one of the big reasons and one of the things I was excited about when coming here was to be able to work with the young quarterback and help become that guy for him. And I think when we watched the film today, the big thing was, he did a good job making a lot of, good reads right away, throwing some really good balls. The first touchdown he threw me was a great ball.
Right.
I think it was big for our chemistry, and I think it was big for me. I'm still trying to get better and better every single day, every game in this league, and trying to become the player that I know I can be. So I think it was big for me and Zach and myself in general.
Not making excuses, but you guys had to really adjust to the fact that you don't have Breece Hall, behind Zach and James Robinson and Michael Carter. How was that adjustment? Because it felt like you guys were not able to really get James going. It was kind of tough to be put into a new system, new verbiage, new town, all within a week and be expected to produce. How do you guys kind of put that whole package in a microwave and try and cook it faster than organically, cooked in an oven or in a crock pot? I know there's a lot of stuff.
I'm kind of hungry too. There. But, I feel like we didn't have too many opportunities in the run game, right? I don't know how many rushes we ended up with, maybe 13, I want to say. Maybe MC had 7 rushes and James had 5, 12, whatever it ended up being. And being down at times in the fourth quarter and being some 2-minute drills, we, probably didn't run the ball maybe as much as we wanted to at times. And, I can only imagine how quick of a turnover that is for James, learning that playbook and trying to be ready to go in short notice like that. But I don't think it's I think obviously missing Breece is huge. He's a hell of a player, and he showed that so early in his career. But, so MC and James are both really good running backs too. And I'm excited for them to show everybody, what they can do and how our running game is going to be, just as potent. So.
What about Garrett Wilson going over 100 yards receiving for the second time as a pro? He's only played 8 games in the National Football League. What have you seen from him, and what kind of potential does that guy have?
Yeah, so everybody kind of has been saying it now, but I was saying it since I first got here that he has a little bit of Justin Jefferson in him. just the way he moves, kind of like the Euro stepping as he strides and the wiggle and slipperiness he has, to beat press coverage and whatnot. And he obviously has special ability after the catch. And I think, he's moving around a lot as a young guy, right? He's in the slide, he's playing X, he's playing Z, he's playing F. And there's just so many intricacies that go with that, when he's going from being outside and just being someone man coverage to having to go inside in the slide and, and feel zones and run different types of routes that, he's just going to keep growing and getting better, I think. But, the sky's the limit for him.
Did you tell him that after you made the Justin Jefferson comparison, or you just?
No, I've never told him that. Actually, I hope he doesn't hear this. But, he's a super humble kid anyway. But, it's really just the way they move, the way they can go high point the ball, the way they, release. And for me, it's just like the Euro step as they, kind of just running any type of route, just the back and forth and slipperiness of it. But.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson very, very shifty, right? Very sudden when he makes his moves, and you can tell people respect his quickness within a confined space. This is the first time probably this season, since early in the season, that you guys probably haven't lived up to expectations and kind of had a letdown. How do you guys rebound quickly, and how do you guys match up, and what's the mindset when you start thinking about going against arguably the best team in the NFL? The excitement level, but the focus. And I know that, listen, this is a day where it's an off day, but you had to peek at the game, maybe on a plane. You had to see the game maybe last night and trying to get an early assessment of what you think you can have an opportunity to do against the Buffalo Bills defense that is tremendous. And, what the defense has, the task that they have in stopping arguably the leading MVP candidate.
No plane last night coming home from MetLife.
Yeah. I'm following you. Yeah, we were on Woody's helicopter yesterday, but I watched the game last night, and I think the beauty of this league is you got a quick turnaround, right? We have a game, we have a tough loss. Like you said, the expectations have flipped. We were expected to win a game, and that's new for the organization as of right now, right? So it's a little bit of a letdown, but you don't got much time to sit there and mourn it and feel bad about it. You let it hurt for a little bit and you move on. And I watched the game last night. I think with the Bills is how explosive their offense is. And, we know how well our defense is playing. So, we feel good about that. I'm excited to watch that matchup. But on defense, they're not going to try to trick you. They're going to, what front they're going to be in for the most part. They're going to do what they do, and it's a team that's kind of been in this defensive system for 4 or 5 years, and they keep getting better and better. They fly around, they know where they're supposed to be, and kind of like Coach Shaw would say, you know what you're doing on defense, and then as a defensive player, you can go and green light something and make a play and make a difference in the game. So I think from a standpoint, we just got to execute. We know what they're going to be in, and we know our coach is going to put a good plan together for us. So we just got to go out there and execute and make the plays.
Totally different way they attack people.
Yeah.
The Jets defense, Bills defense, but there are similarities because the Bills like to rush 4 and play 7 in the back, and we've been seeing your defense have a lot of success doing that as well, right? So the Buffalo will tell you, hey, listen, we're just going to put 7 in the back and try to beat us through there.
Yeah, and that's what I think our defense has done really well, right? We don't, I don't know everything that's going on the defensive side of the ball, but for the most part, they don't overcomplicate things. Right. They have certain checks for certain things. They have a couple of checks throughout a game, and they make plays on the ball, and they play, as we've seen all season, super fast, and they come down and hit people. And I think that's the same as Buffalo. They're not going to overcomplicate things. They're going to be in their spots. They're going to take the chances when they get the opportunity to take a chance. And it's on us to make the big play and not make the mistakes, like in the New England game, right? That's kind of a team that has mirages, and they wait for you to make a mistake so that they can win.
Right.
So it's a little different game in that aspect of things.
I mean, you're part of a young group, but you have probably more experience than a lot of the guys in the system. You think about Garrett Wilson, you think about Elijah Moore, you think about Zach Wilson. These are young players that are just cutting their teeth in this league. What are you saying to them, or what's the conversations about? Because when you get to the middle of the season, the body starts to ache a little bit more, especially for these rookies who this is the longest year of your career, right? You're coming from playing college, combine, that whole draft process, rookie camps. What are you trying to do to kind of guide? Because you need these young guys kind of to skip past the rookie wall, but the rookie wall hits everybody.
Yeah, it's still weird for me that I'm a older guy, I guess, in this league, being in year 5 and with how young of a team this is. But I think it's really just checking on them, making sure they're doing the right thing, trying to be. Obviously, you can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do, but just be that that vet that they can lean on and ask for advice what they need to do to take care of their body. Or so my rookie year was a lot different, right? I wasn't in a spot that a lot of these guys are in, where they're playing 80% of the snaps and being contributors like they are. I was in a little different situation, and last year was really my first year starting, and as a starter, and playing a full season and playing every snap. And my big thing going into it was, okay, how am I going to take care of my body? What is my routine that's going to allow me to make it through a 17-game season? And I just had to go through that in year 4. So I think, it's fresh on my mind, and I think, it makes it easy for me to kind of talk to them, and, just really the importance of having a routine. I think routine is everything, especially in this league. So the earlier you can build that routine, I think the more successful you're going to be as a player.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You were playing with your hair on fire against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Were you seeking out the contact? Because you weren't just catching the ball on Sunday. You were looking to get upfield, and whoever was in your way, watch out.
Yeah, I think it's you hear to talk about it all week. I was just excited to become part of the rivalry, right? And that hate for the Patriots built really, really quickly throughout that game. But it always feels good when you can touch the rock early in the game and make a play. And I just tried to kind of build on that first third down conversion and make sure we could have energy. So obviously things didn't plan out how we wanted, but I think it was a step in the right direction.
Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions. He was definitely not happy after the game. What kind of spotlight is a quarterback in here in New York compared to the place you just came from, Minnesota? Like, let's say Cousins throws 4 interceptions in a game. What does he face compared to maybe what a Wilson does here?
The media here is definitely a lot different, and the fans here are a little different. Like you said, we talked earlier, it's been a long road of not a lot of winning, and they want to see wins, and so they're harsh. You see in the stadium sometimes we go from having so much energy in the stands to stuff going wrong, and it gets really quiet really fast. And it's the similarity between them is Kirk is getting paid a lot of money right now, right? So when Kirk's struggling in a game, he caught a lot of heat for it because of how much he was getting paid, and the roster we had in Minnesota and the expectations for us to win there. And here in New York, just the spotlight that he has, I don't know if it's a spotlight I'd want to deal with, but I talked to him after the game yesterday. I'm like, man, don't listen to it. I mean, it's hard not to. We all have bad games. We all have good games. And that's kind of the beauty of the sport. We just kind of got to stick together. And I think when people really went and watched his game, obviously you see some picks that are not good, right? I mean, he knows that. He looked at those plays and was like, what the hell was I doing, right? But you also go and you see a lot of plays where he played really well. It's just those bad plays kind of overshadow the good that happened throughout it. So I think it was, a good growing process. At some point, he just learned a lesson that, I'm mobile, I can get out of the pocket, I can create stuff, but I can't do that. I got to throw the ball away when I need to throw the ball away. I can't make it close. Sometimes you got to eat take a negative play or, whatnot. So I think it's just something all young players go through. I think people forget how young he is at times, and, you don't want to sit here and make excuses, but, there was good things that happened in that game. It's just some of those bad things really overshadowed it.
Yeah, just because you could don't mean you should. And, understand I had a young Mark Sanchez, and we had a ready-made defense, champion defense, a great offensive line, the best running game in the business. And, really what he has to realize, and the toughest part about, trying to help a young player mature is letting him know that you can depend on us. Like, understand that if you punt the ball, that's a good thing, because we're going to flip the field, because we're going to go over there, get your Gatorade. You're going to have 3 plays. You're going to be right back out here, and you're going to be in a better position, you were before you punted the ball, because we're going to flip the field and we're going to get them 3 and out, and we may get the interception and give you the ball back. So that's the hardest part, with when you have a young guy that's trying to extend plays. He has to realize and understand that when you retreat back, that's one of the biggest issues that he has. Just me being an analyst and watching him play, you can't retreat back because that's where your line is blocking people. So it makes the field shrink and narrow. You have to step up. And what Mac Jones was doing, if he saw cover one, he just took off. So, I mean, it's a part of maturing. And when you have a young quarterback, it can be frustrating because they'll have games where they play very well, then games where they just try and do too much, and understand that you can win ugly in this game. Most people in this league win ugly. Like, it's ugly games, 17, 16, 19. You don't have to air it out. It's not about that, because at the end of the day, if you win, everybody eats. So it's just him having an understanding that punting is a good thing if you really believe in this defense and believe in us as a team. And you have to blend the line between offense and defense and say we're one, and we have to play as if we're one, and understand, give me some time to get some TV time, and I'll give you the ball right back. I'll put the light right back on you. So I don't know how you get that communicated to him, but I had that same experience with a young Mark Sanchez. We had a time, and I'm just trying to explain to you the history of of the Jets. We had the same issue with Mark where we had to give him red light, green lights, where he had to throw the ball. He couldn't change the play. And, it was just part of it. And we made him better. And we went to 2 AFC championships back to back, knocked out Tom Brady, knocked out Peyton Manning, knocked out Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? So that's the hardest part in trying to get him to understand that, because you guys have an opportunity in a wide open AFC where anything can happen. You get in the tournament, anything can happen. There's no dominant team. There's no big bad wolf, right? There's no guy that's been making great plays. The Tom Brady, there's nobody at that level right now but Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and that's actually, you hit two things that we kind of talked about, because I was talking to Zach today, and he watched the Bills game yesterday, and he's talking about how the difference between how him and Josh Allen scramble, right? Like you were saying, he's retreating, making the field more narrow, throwing off his back foot. And like you watched the game yesterday, and a lot of times when Josh Allen's, scrambling, he's attacking the line of scrimmage, and then he's, staying behind the line of scrimmage and making a throw, or he's attacking the line of scrimmage. So then when he does decide to run, he can make a big play. And that's actually something me and Zach talked about this morning, was just, the difference in the way that they both scramble, and, something that he wants to improve on and work on. And I talked to MC this morning about just our defense here, how much we believe in them. And every time they go on the field, you expect to get the ball back. You expect a turnover. You expect them to flip the field. And, it's a comforting feeling knowing that. And, you made a great point about the punt's okay. I mean, we didn't think about it like that exactly, but, a punt's a good thing. We'll get the ball back with better field position. But it is something that we talked about this morning. Like, we trust this defense. We know this defense is going to either make them punt or get a turnover. And, it's funny. Both the things you just mentioned is things I talked to Zach and MC about today. So.
Let me ask you this. Good words of wisdom from the Mad Backer, who's went to a couple AFC championship games here. You mentioned Josh Allen today. You played with him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Could you have predicted the success he's had in the NFL so far? Did you know, during that week of practice, obviously you're getting ready for the draft yourself before you're taken in the 5th round by the Vikings, but wow, this dude has become, like Salah would say, a freakazoid.
Yeah. So we played Wyoming in a bowl, Idaho Potato Bowl, Central Michigan versus Wyoming. And going into that game, we were like, man, whatever, we're going to kill him, blah, blah, blah. He ain't that good. And we came out there and got smoked. I think we lost 49-7 or something. We had a ton of turnovers on offense, but, he shredded us that game. So, it went from playing them in a bowl game and watching him, make us look really bad to going and playing the Senior Bowl with him. And, obviously I don't think you can ever really just sit there and predict, who's going to become what, right? Because if we could do that, the draft would be a lot less, interesting if we could just predict who was going to become what. But, he kind of showed it, and I was just, I guess, proving people right or wrong, however you want to look at it. But he's obviously a hell of a player. So
you caught a touchdown.
Well, you think
Barty caught a touchdoon from him, I think.
Yeah, a
in the
little
Senior
wheel,
Bowl game, right?
little wheel pass out of the background, some fullback. But yeah, I mean,
he has a cannon, and the knock on him was he wasn't accurate. I mean, what I would tell people, he was throwing the ball in Wyoming.
Yeah,
like consider the elements, right? Consider the elements, and also to consider who he was throwing to. But you got to give Josh Allen a ton of credit, because when he first came in this league, he couldn't hit the ocean if he was in a boat.
Yeah.
Right. But he really changed his mechanics, his stance, his delivery, became a much more accurate quarterback. I know you're much more accurate when you trade for Stephon Diggs, but a ton of credit goes to him for improving his game. And those are the tales of what's built lasts longer than what's born. Right. He was born with some natural tools, but he built himself to become an accurate quarterback. He stopped turning the ball over, fumbling, putting his team at risk. And that's a cautionary tale or that's not a cautionary tale, but a tale to Zach. That listen, we expect quarterbacks to be finished products, in their second year. It doesn't work that way. For every Joe Burrow, it's a Jalen Hurts that takes a while to kind of develop and get it. And you just got to understand that, in this league, it's all about plugging up the holes that you have in your game. Yep. So we all come to the league with a lot of holes. Those who are arrogant and think that, hey, I'm just going to keep being fast and athletic, not only lasts for so long, because at some point all our bodies start to slow down, and we have to adjust our game and win more with our mind than it is our natural born ability. So I get that from Bernard Hopkins all the time. What's built lasts longer than what's born, and he's a perfect example of that, because Roy Jones was born to be great. He built himself to be great. And when you look at Bernard Hopkins and what he was able to do over the course of his career, you would say his career was as good or not better than Roy Jones, but Roy Jones had all the natural skills. Tom Brady's another example of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that hits home with me, because my road's actually been, obviously a lot different than a lot of people's. From basketball to football to the 5th-round pick and walk on and all that stuff. So, I like that saying. That's something that definitely kind of hits home with me, and as I keep trying to, develop and become better. So,
Bart here talking about the executioner, Bernard Hopkins, one of the greatest boxers ever. I wanted to ask you about the basketball background in terms of your route running. How much does that help you? Because you got more wiggle and you get separation at the top of your routes. And typically we speak in terms that way when we're talking about a receiver. But you can get some things happening at the top of your route. How much does that basketball background help you?
Yeah, I think it helps. I think basketball for me really has helped with going up and high pointing the ball and body control and things like that. And really for me is I've always took pride in my route running and, working on it and going to seeing receiver coaches and whatnot, and really trying to have a different toolbox than most tight ends have when it comes to, releases and top of the routes. And, I was really excited coming here and coming into this offense and some of the freedom we have in the route tree and some of the routes that we do run as a tight end. I've been excited to get the opportunity to go out there and show it in the game and do those things. So,
how about that?
Yeah,
go ahead, Bart.
I love to see them, split you out just a tad. So you can run the banana routes, because these linebackers are so stupid. They'll follow you and get outside and just throw it on the hash and just banana them in between the numbers. And they're so short. Yeah. You can just moss them all day, especially against teams like the Buffalo Bills that's going to have like the two high guys. You can get under that and go ahead and moss them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I'm always telling Zach, I'm like, hey, we go out there and run a go route and a linebacker comes out there. Just alert it for me. It's just think about it. If you see a backer follow me out there, or a safety or whatnot. But cause I feel comfortable out there. It's a place I feel comfortable. My senior year I was basically played X. I was backside, running glances and fades and whatnot all season. So it's definitely a place I feel comfortable.
Break it down for us.
Now, I got in the league when you had like the evolution of the tight end, right? Like Kellen Winslow Jr. Of course, I've been playing against Gates since we were in high school in Detroit.
Let's say Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So actually, I was supposed to go to Michigan State.
Michigan guys.
Me and him was roommates, and he went to Michigan State. That's a long story. We don't have enough tape in this reel to cover how I ended up in Sulla, Illinois. But when you think about like the evolution of the tight end, when you were trying to make that transition from being a guy that's, Gronk and Kittles probably are the spokesman for like the guys who can really set the edge and be able to control defensive ends. And then you look at guys like Pitts, that's like the other end of the spectrum. What are you trying to add to your game, and who did you look up to, like kind of growing up as you were trying to develop from a basketball player to a football player, then also trying to not be typecast as a guy that's in the box, blocking all the time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of – so Antonio Gates is someone that I really, having a basketball background, Michigan guy, obviously one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game, is someone I watched. And then when I first decided to switch over to football, I was watching the Michigan State football game. The tight end at the time was Josiah Price. And, he was having a good year, catching stick knives for touchdowns all over the place. And I'm like, man, I can do that, And that was the day I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching it. That was the day I kind of decided to stop playing basketball and switch over. And then weirdly, Josiah Price ended up being in Minnesota when I got there. And, that was just once I kind of got into the pre-draft stuff and whatnot, it was, he was split out all year. He can't block. He can't do this. And my whole thing was, I'm going to prove him wrong, right? So I went to the Senior Bowl. I was like 200. I ended up being up like 255 pounds. Like, I'm going to show him I can block. Like, I know I can run routes. I'm going to show him I can block. So I was probably a little heavier and whatnot than I should have been. But, I wanted to prove him wrong in that aspect of things, because I just think the beauty of tight end is you got to do everything. You got to be able to play in pass pro. You got to be able to – it's like a back, right? I didn't want to be a guy that can only play on third down. I want to be a guy that can be in there on first down, second down. I want to be able to beat man coverage on third down. So I always wanted to be the all-around tight end. I didn't want to be the guy that was just a receiver guy or a blocking guy. And that's just something I've kind of always prided myself on, and something I'm still trying to get better every day. And Coach Mid's helped me a ton in the run game since I've been here, just with, aiming points and hand placement and in my footwork. So, I think the run game is something I'm going to keep getting better at. So he's helped me a ton in pass pro already with just having better sets and, different tricks with my punches and whatnot. And then having the opportunity to go out there and show what I work on, in the offseason probably more than anything, which is my route running, releases, and things of that nature. So I'm just excited to keep getting better every single game as an all-around tight end.
How much do you enjoy?
Quick tip from a linebacker that knows like how tight ends can cheat. Don't push them away from you. Pull them to you and just put them chest to chest. You'll never get called for holding if you grab them and pull them close to you. If you don't extend your arms, you grab them underneath their pass. You pull them chest to chest. You'll never get it. They can't make a tackle.
Yeah.
And you'll never get called for holding.
And they just get mad. How you hold?
Yeah,
you
they
hold,
get mad
you
as
hold.
hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
mad
We had a guy named Mulligan, Junior Whopper hands.
Yep.
And he would hold the hell out of you. You never get the call.
Matthew Mulligan.
Yep.
Hey,
Junior Whopper hands.
Middleton, you mentioned him before.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah, the coolest.
How much do you enjoy working with that guy?
I love it. Our room, we got a great room between, CJ, myself, Ruck, Kenny. Obviously, whoever's talked to CJ, CJ is just outgoing and, goofball. And then Coach Mid, I mean, the one-liners that he has are unbelievable.
Really is something.
Oh, it's something. And it's just the way he says it. The way he says things is, his one-liners, like the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just hilarious. And he's played the game for, he played a 10-year career. So he understands it. He understands the tough situations we get put in. He understands, tricks and things to help us to win in those situations. And he understands when you're in a tough situation, you don't necessarily get it done he gets it. And he, it's nice to be coached by a coach that, has played the game, understands the game the way he does. And, like I said earlier, he's really helped me develop in a short period of time since I've been here.
How much you paying attention to what's going on in Minnesota? So you leave Minnesota, they're like 6-1. You're here with your new team, doing great things, 5-3. Obviously, you wish you were 6-2, but Minnesota multi-game lead in the NFC North. Who would have thought? Yeah,
they've had the talent there for, since I've been there. Since I got there my rookie year, they had this roster that was, I feel like in this league you have a window, right, of when you have young guys that aren't getting paid and you have guys that you're paying. You have this window to go make a Super Bowl run. And they've done a good job of somehow extending that roster and giving them a chance to be what they are right now. And they got a heck of a team. Kirk, I think, is one of the most hated on quarterbacks. I think he's a heck of a quarterback. His accuracy and he's a heck. I texted him today because his touchdown run, I'm like, you hit it was the GPS numbers. You hit 20 miles per hour. Then you got Justin out there who, one of a kind with what he's done so far in his career. And I'm happy for him. They got a good team. They're winning games, and Green Bay struggling a little bit, Chicago and Detroit. So good for them. I'm happy for him.
Have you thought about what it's going to be like when you go back there?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I want to go bonkers that day. No, I'm excited to go back to US Bank. I was there for 4 years. Me and my fiance, we learned to love Minnesota, so we're excited to get back. But we're enjoying the hell out of this new experience out here.
So Bart, should we end there? Guys getting married.
I was there for the Super Bowl, man. I almost lost. I thought he was gonna have to amputate my fingers. How damn cold it was, man. It don't make no damn sense.
You got tunnels there, Bart.
Yeah, no, it is pretty damn cold. Especially you go outside about January, you breathe, it just hits you in the lungs, start coughing and shit. No, I know. Trust me. I mean, I don't mind the cold though.
You guys are both Michigan
Minnesota
guys.
Is totally different.
Minnesota is different. No, Minnesota is different, but I don't.
It ain't the same.
No, it is different. It's different. It is different. It's a lot different than Michigan. It's warmer here than it is in Michigan.
Yes, no doubt. Well, what's the date of the wedding?
April 12th. I have nothing to do with the wedding. I'm
Where's
staying out of it completely.
You just show up.
I just show. That's what I tell her. I'm like, I'll be there. If you got a real question I gotta answer, I'll answer. But she'll ask me, I'll answer, and she won't even listen anyway.
Where's it gonna be?
She don't care for you to taste the cake. What kind of cake you? I like this one. I like that.
I don't even care if
I
have a cake.
Which one you want? Why you haven't tasted?
We don't even need a cake. Just whatever. I just told her whatever. We're having it in Cabo.
Okay.
It's gonna be destination wedding, a little smaller, family and close friends, and
nice.
It'll be cool. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome.
Little zip lining.
Yeah, like I told her, I'll be there.
If you go opposite San Juan, they have a hotel where it's carved out of the volcanic ash. So like you go there, you got like toucans that come up to you. It's no elevator, but your room is off the mountain. That's hand carved. That's dope.
And what's it called?
Let me ask my wife.
You gotta get back to me about that one.
Yeah, I got it. It's right up there. It's cool because they have the waterfall. They have the active volcano. So like they got the live springs with the sulfur. Yeah. You do rock climb. You go zip lining. But that's on it. When you go to Cabo, you either go to San Juan or you go to the other part with the rainforest.
Yeah,
the rainforest.
Yeah, someone asked me today, and I'm like, I don't know which side I'm going to. Like you said, I'll be there. I'm gonna show up. I'll be standing up there. But she's handling it all, so I'm excited. We're excited.
We're excited for you. How many tattoos you got now?
Shit, a lot.
You don't know? You don't have the count?
About 150 hours.
Really?
It all blends together now. I mean, there's not. Do
you have a favorite?
It's all one. It's a masterpiece.
I'm about to say it's all one at this point. Probably my right leg or my back. My right leg's all stuff from back home. So, I don't know. Like if you ever were driving down 94, there's like a Gibraltar Trade Center.
Absolutely.
It was like a big
man from the D.
That's what I'm asking. It was a big dude on the side. So when I was driving home as a kid, you knew you were close to home when you got by that. So I got him tattooed on the back of my leg. There's like an old motel kind of where I grew up that they tore down a couple years ago. I got that tattooed. So it's just like all different stuff. From my childhood, my little league football team. 3-on-3 Gus Macker trophy because I was playing Gus Mackers.
Oh, the Gus Macker.
I was playing Gus Mackers every year as a kid, especially the one in Ludington.
You put the Silver Dome or Auburn Hills or Joe Louis Arena on you?
No, I was telling Mid the other day I used to play in the Silver Dome when I played for the Mount Clemens Barracudas back when I was a kid. So we used to always play in the Silver Dome. I had little New Balances on because I had no turf shoes, looking terrible. Cowboy collar.
Hey, get the fist. Get the Joe Louis fist.
No, I got to figure out what else I got to do. I took a little break, so I don't got much space left. I only got about stomach and my ribs, so I'm trying to hold off a little bit.
You might have to say that for the kids, man.
That's what my lady keeps telling me. So you gotta say room for the kids. I'm
that's true.
You can always make room,
true.
I guess.
My ribs.
So
hey man, we enjoyed it. Continued success. Hopefully you guys start a new winning streak this week against the Bills. But again, as far as tight ends, the position is concerned here with the Jets, hadn't had a lot of production there recently. If you look at your numbers, you're on pace for a very good year. And again, career
we'll look
highs.
at the numbers to the end of the season.
Can't look at the numbers to the end of the season.
Listen, I can say career highs yesterday, 2 touchdowns.
I had two in the game before, so it ties a career high.
Okay, and then the 5 first downs.
I don't know about that. I have no idea.
5 first
I'm gonna
downs.
trust
We
you
don't
on
pay
that.
attention to those.
I'm about to say
stats,
I'll trust you on that one.
All right, thanks, brother.
No, I appreciate you guys having me.
WinBet is bringing the excitement of Win Las Vegas to online sports betting and casino play. Get in on all your favorite teams, players, and sports. From boosted parlays to live in-game odds on every major sport, they have what you need to win. Jets fans in New Jersey, sign up today and use promo code XJETS. And after placing your first $100 wager, you will receive $100 to bet with. You will receive a $50 free bet and a $50 casino bonus. Again, the promo code is XJETS. Offer subject to change. Offer only available in New Jersey. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 21 or older to participate. Please visit winbet.com to view welcome offers available in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia.
You're watching the Official Jets podcast. We're presented by WinBet. Betting is a team sport. Bet together at WinBet. Eric Allen with Bart Scott. Tyler Conklin, I think he is going to figure prominently in the Jets offense for the next 9 games. Bottom line, they're going to need him big time down the stretch.
Absolutely. I mean, he becomes a tight end as a quarterback's best friend because he's always friendly. He's right there in the line of sight. And he does a good job in using his big body to be able to shield against defenders. And he's sure-handed, so I think, that relationship will continue to grow. And it opened things up for everybody else.
You mentioned it before, buddy. Zach Wilson, what does he have to do? You talked about in terms of staying in the pocket, not dropping back, but immediately looking ahead to this game against the Buffalo Bills, because that's a defense that has been together for a long time. We'll have to find out about the status of Jordan Poyer, this longtime safety there. Micah Hyde already out, but that Bills defense typically one of the best in the National Football League.
Yeah, because they're disciplined. They have a rare luxury, much like the Jets have, is they don't have to add more people to the rush to be able to affect the quarterback because they have guys that can win the one-on-ones. But, when you talk about you damn sure can't fade away and expose yourselves on the edges when you think about Russo and you think about Von Miller on the outside. The best place to be is stepping up because they're only rushing 4. You have 5 to 6 protector, so it creates natural seams and lanes to throw through, but also to throw through. You got to be decisive. You got to move up in the pocket. You cannot drift back because you expose yourself. You got to be quick with the ball and understand that you're going to have to hold the ball a little longer because they have 7 in protection, but then it's going to be opportunities for guys to sit in zone. So when they are in one zone and they can't get through, they may have to slide to another zone to get open. You got to be patient.
How big of a challenge is this for a young team who thought they let one get away against the Patriots? They're thinking Michael Carter II scores. It's a 2-score game at halftime, and maybe possibly it's going to be a runaway against the Patriots.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. So,
if anything, you got to know though, that you have to take advantage of those opportunities. You can't let them pass because those are the ones that you regret, and you're asking yourself, what if, right? And, you can't ask what if. You got to say, this is what is. This is what we did. And they're going to have to shore themselves up because they're going against the best, football team in all of football that has doubled down. And, who knows what they're going to do before the trade deadline. Reports that they may be going for Alvin Kamara. Who knows, Kareem Hunt available. But, it's an arms race going on in the AFC and in the NFL for teams that think they're close. And Buffalo think they're closer to any other team.
How do you contain this Bills offense? It's a prolific attack. On paper, I think the Jets' defensive line should have some matchup advantages against the Bills' offensive line. But the counter on that for Buffalo is Allen's so dynamic, he can get out of the pocket, and he's strong too. So even if you get your hands on him, sometimes it's really hard to bring him down.
That's the issue, and that's why you got to stay in your rush lanes because if you play man-to-man and turn your back, he'll take off, and he's so big that he can make guys miss in space, but he also can run through arm tackles. So that's the dilemma. Do you spy him? What do you do with them? And you're going to ask your corners to do a lot, and he's going to take some shots. He trusts, Gabe Davis, and he trusts Stephon Diggs, and he'll put the ball up. So guys are going to have to high point the ball, but it's going to be essential, again, for these corners to be able to match up man-to-man because you're going to have 7 guys in coverage to be able to have all eyes on him so he doesn't make you look foolish by running one of these 45-yard type of runs. We saw Matt Jones early on. You saw Joe Burrow early on. You saw Jacoby Brissett, really hurt. Josh Allen is more talented than all those with his arm and with his legs.
How do you think the Jets should match up with those receivers? Their cornerbacks have been playing great this year in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed.
Yeah, but all it takes is one. So you still want to mix it up. You still want to play some form of zone, some man. You want to try and bracket them at times. If you feel like you have a good grasp on being able to stop them with a light box, then you say, okay, well, maybe we'll stop them with a light box, and this time we're going to double Gabe. This time we're going to double Stephon. This time we're going to double Knox. Because when you look at really what the Jets really struggled with was Stevenson coming out of the backfield and being able to isolate some of these linebackers and catch a ball. So who knows if they try and use Devin Singletary or Cook that way. You put it on tape, you're going to have to defend it until you show that you can stop it.
And offensively, we talked specifically about Zach, but what's the key for the entire unit that is still undergoing a transition here? You mentioned it with Tyler. Listen, we'll have to see about the status of Corey Davis, but Elijah Vera-Tucker, Breece Hall, they're not going to be back until 2023.
They have to run the football. Like they're trying to stop you in nickel. Like their base defense is nickel, and you have to make them pay for being in nickel. You have to get up to the second level. You got to block, combo block, gap scheme. You got to get vertical. You got to make them see if they can continue to attack you with your running backs coming downhill.
Great opportunity ahead, right? Though, I mean, you're testing yourself against the best.
Yeah, you should go out there and you have nothing to lose. You're expected to lose this game. You should go out there free and play your best football and take chances. What else do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. All right, Bart Scott, we'll see you next week, brother.